Okay, welcome. Glad to have you for this first gathering of three about same-gender marriage and the session's decision this past week, our denominational decision that started last summer. And so let me just give you a little brief introduction for sort of how we got here. Last summer, the General Assembly passed a constitutional amendment that said that changed the language in the Book of Order as to who could be married. Instead of saying a man and a woman, it said two people in a covenant relationship, therefore opening the door to same-gender marriages. And what the Assembly decided was that this would be a decision that would be made by churches and made by clergy, so that it sort of was a freedom of conscience decision, which is to say that clergy, ordained ministers of the U.S.A, would make their own freedom of conscience decision as to whether they would marry same-gender couples. And that sessions, on behalf of the congregations, would make the decision for the congregations if, one, it was legal in your state, and two, the majority of presbyteries passed the motion. For those of you who've been around in Presbyterianism long enough, you know that when there's a constitutional amendment that is passed by the General Assembly, it then has to be ratified by going through all the presbyteries, and then a majority vote then makes that amendment constitutional. We have 173 presbyteries throughout the United States. And so I think it was in March of this year, the majority of presbyteries had voted yes to affirm this amendment. And I looked this week, it's almost at the end, but there are 119 presbyteries who voted yes to affirm this, and 47 presbyteries have voted no against it. Salem Presbytery, which we're a part, voted yes back in maybe April. And so this became constitutional for us then when the majority had voted yes. And in North Carolina, last October, the court said that same-gender marriage was legal in our state. Then, after 5 months of discussing this in our session, this past month, not this week, but last week, our session voted 41 to 10 to allow the session's decision is, will we allow same-gender marriages to be held on our premises? And the session, who has control over that issue, said yes, 41 to 10. But again, after 5 months of discussion, study, listening, it was very deliberate and a very thoughtful process. And so that's how we got here to today. Then you received a letter from me this week, last week, I can't remember, expressing what had happened. So we have three. Dolly, Neil, and I decided to do a 3-week class about this surrounding, and these are our topics today. Presbyterian understanding of biblical authority and interpretation. That's today. Next week, the Presbyterian understanding of Christian marriage in historical, biblical, and social context. And then the last week, the biblical texts that surround the homosexual debate. So we'll all be here each week. Neil's taking the lead today, but we're all here. This is what I want to say to you. 3 things. 1, you don't have to agree with us. That's the first thing. The second thing is that what I've tried to say all along, which is our Presbyterian mantra, people of good character and good principles may differ. And that we are asked to be patient with those with whom we disagree. That's been part of the Presbyterian Book of Order since 1788. And that has done us well through the years, and I think it's really important for us. And the third thing is, we're not trying to change anybody's mind. That's not the purpose of this class. Rather, what we heard from you, from members, was tell us how you got to your position. Just tell us how you got there. Biblically, theologically. Tell us how you got there. So, that's why we decided to do this. To try to say, we're not interested in debate. We're just trying to tell you how we got there. And we're not trying to change anybody's mind. So, Neil was going to start us off.